But the title that makes me proudest of all is DL. DL, Deputy Leader. Deputy Leader of the greatest party there is, the Labour Party. Whether I'm Deputy Prime Minister or not, though can I say I'm the longest serving Deputy Prime Minister. I've seen off 5 of the Tory maidens book, 4 of the Liberal ones, and I'm still here. Under Labour, Britain did get better.
Why is it always millionaires like yourself get uptight about £2 an hour for people on minimum wage? Why do you always have to do that? I'll tell you.
The Deputy Leader and his wife strutted their stuff as New Labour brought in a jazz band.
And I think it's as well to remember that what we are doing about fair employment rights will be welcomed by millions of workers who are at work today. If there's a choice between getting my words wrong or getting the judgment wrong, I'd sooner have my problem, not his. I'll be in trouble again, I think, now.
Rest in peace, John Prescott. I hope... I hope everybody's very, very well. How is everybody? Just give me a quick minute. Hope everybody's very, very well. How is everybody? Just give me a quick minute. So just want to make sure that I am actually on. Because I do have this wonderful canny knack of thinking I'm actually live, and then and it turns out I'm not on. So I'm just going to make sure. Yes, it appears that I am live. Thank God for that. I know I'm an idiot sometimes. But hello everybody. I hope everybody's very well, and hope you enjoyed that little bit of a tribute to the now departed John Prescott. I know he will not have been everybody's cup of tea, but he was a larger-than-life character, wasn't he? And I've got one or two little others a little bit later on. But anyway, let's have a look who's in the chat, and give me a quick sec so I sort myself all out. And yes, good evening, my moderator. Good evening, Mad Monk. Hope you're well. And Regan Elite. Hope you're well. Hope you're very, very well. Hope you've had a lovely day. And if you're not subscribed to Regan Elite's channel, what you're doing with your lives, you'll learn a hell of a lot more. You'll learn a lot more than what you'll get here. I'm the Nick Abbott of live streams. Just make all sorts of cow noises and do silly things. And my lovely daughter, God's last sis. Hello, my lovely. Hope you've had a lovely day today. And Stephen Bankier, hope you're well, my friend. Wake up and smell the rosemaries. Yes. I'm doing very, very well, thank you. And hope you are as well. Steve Binning, good evening, my friend. And anybody? Billy Kershaw, my running mate. Yes, my running mate. Billy Kershaw, will you watch out for that Elon Musk? He's cramping my style. Will you get rid of him? Get rid of him. He's making me look stupid. Good evening, my friend. Hope you're well. And anybody? Frederick Roth III. I hope you're well. Simon says, same to you, hope you're well. And number 3, good evening, my friend. And Andrew Luke, yes. Good evening, my friend. If you're not subscribed to Andrew's channel, you should do, you. Like with Regan Elite, you'll learn something. You'll learn a hell of a lot more than what you'll get here. But hello there, my friend. Is there anybody else I've forgotten? I don't think I have. But if I do apologise, because I'm an idiot sometimes. But welcome to my Friday Frolic, and where we just basically just have a bit of a giggle and a bit of a laugh at. No worries, Andrew Luke, no worries. Always enjoy what you produce. Top notch. But what we like to do on this is we just like to take a bit of the mickey out of people who should really be taken seriously, and just welcoming the weekend. And I'll just have a bit of a good giggle and laugh before the professionals like Reagan Elite and Max and anybody else who does their live streams. But anyway, yes, it was the sad parting of John Prescott. Now, he won't be everybody's cup of tea, but he was larger than life, wasn't he? He was a big character, and it kind of reminds me of a little bit of history repeating itself, because like, he was Deputy Prime Minister for a long time, wasn't he? I'll say, you'll notice I've got the tit for tat on, because I've even got my hood on as well. My God, I didn't realise. Let me get this off. That's better. Good evening, Tone. Hope you're well. And welcome to my Friday frolic, and hope you've had a lovely day. Now, as I say, it was a nice, lovely, fitting tribute, you know. And yes, I love the bit. I'm going to get myself into trouble. But anyway, I've got one or two little excerpts of what they call him, Mr. John Prescott, a little bit later on, and they're quite interesting ones. But let's crack on. Now, because like I've got to try to do is, you know, do a little bit of excerpts, you know, from the week, and I saw this little excerpt from this clown. Let's just say he's just nothing but a clown. Who real I find it odd that people take any interest in this. Take any interest in anything he says. Now, I've forgotten the name of the guy who basically founded UKIP. His view of this character was, I don't understand why anybody takes any notice of Nigel Farage, because he's nothing but a thick, ignorant racist. And if anybody says that, oh, you're just saying that because it's Nigel Farage, I'll just usually say, well, you explain that to the founder member of UKIP. That's not my words, that's his. And this clown thinks he's far more important, you know, than the police.
On Southport, all I can say to you right now is I know a hell of a lot more than the British public know. A hell of a lot more. I've been completely silenced. I dared, the day after Southport, to do a video to say, can we please know who this man is? Was he known to the authorities? Why do I feel we're not being told the truth? The level of demonisation I came under for that from both front benches was astonishing. From media commentators, demonisation on a level that I'd never even experienced. Now I'm told by the Speaker of the House of Commons, I can't ask questions about it in the House of Commons. Parliamentary privilege is out of the window. Even rumours today that the court case, which is due in January, every effort is being made to defer it. Right? Yeah, this is what's going on. We are witnessing one of the biggest cover-ups we've ever seen in our lives. And I won't say any more than that. I genuinely would never wish to be in contempt of court. I have respect for our legal system. It's not perfect, but it's a damn sight better than most of the rest of the world.
Yeah, you don't sound like it the way you were talking about it. I'm being silenced. And this is why I love my chat, you know, because far more intelligent than me, you know. Andrew Luke, yeah, absolutely right. I couldn't think of his name. Professor Alan Sked, once upon a time founder of UKIP. That's what he said about this crank. And good evening, Spank the Monkey. Hope you're well, and hope you've had a lovely day. And welcome to my Friday frolic. And yes, yeah, and I'm just gonna say, the Rebellion Overlord, whose favourite tune is shaking all over. Has anyone spotted him in Clarkson? Well, Well, we'll have a little talk about that a little bit later on. Yes, he sounds like, what's his name, David Icke. He does, actually. When I think about it, that's a cracking spot, actually, my friend. Yeah, and just as much as a crank as well. Absolutely hilarious is this guy. Just asking questions again. Oh, Farage. See, the thing is, after after what happened that day, I was watching the House of Commons, and they had urgent questions for the Home Secretary, which, as we all know, is Yvette Cooper, and there were MPs in there. One of them was missing. It was this crank, nowhere to be seen, nowhere to be seen. So if he wanted to ask questions, there was his moment. And good evening, Simon says. Yes. So, and he didn't. He wasn't interested. He was more interested in doing his silly video, wasn't he? That was what happened after. It happened the day after when they did the urgent question. The only one for them to ask a question was 30p Lee, and to be honest, that's probably the most respectful I've ever heard him speak. Yeah. And if I'm honest, when I've seen 30p Lee now and again, when he used to be on the Home Affairs Select Committee, there were moments where he could actually do it, and then he'd just go off on this mad tangent and make a tit of himself. Clearly, he'd make these ridiculous questions up, just for clicks, for his videos, for his conspiracy theory crank fans that he has. But anyway, he seems to think that, how dare they silence me? Well, we all know the reason why, don't we? We're all intelligent people in the chat. We all know why it's the case of you can't really say anything. It's because it'll interfere with the case, won't it? What does he want? Does he want it to be thrown out? Is that what he wants? Is that what he's after? Let's be honest. I feel sorry for the parents of those 3 children. That if you asked Nigel Farage straight off the bat, can you name the 3 children? I bet he wouldn't even know. And if I'm honest, I bet he didn't. He doesn't even care either. Yes. It's a crank then, Dale. Just checking as a word. I thought it was also yes. Yes, but we have to act concerning the quiet bit of people. Yes, absolutely. Thank God for my moderators, because if I'm honest, I'm a terrible shill. I'm terrible. Yes, as I say, smash the like button and all that, or tickle it or whatever. But yeah, I just thought the absolute gall of this man. He just, yeah. Nigel will be like, huh? Children? Who? Yeah, exactly. He won't even remember him because he doesn't care. And it's like, if he had concerns, he'd have been in the Houses of Parliament the day after, wanting to ask a question to Yvette Cooper. Nowhere to be seen. Couldn't care less. Yeah, absolutely torn. And I think you've been quite polite to him there. Here's a goal. Did he leave his kids riding the Eurotunnel? Yeah. Good God, can you imagine being the child of this vile individual?
On Southport?
Yeah, whatever. Fuck off. Heard enough of him. And then around the same time, we've got all these. Yeah, he's not human. He's a bloody. Now you're sounding like David Icke, Mad Monk. But I know what you mean. But yeah, now it's I remember last week when we were supposed to all feel sorry for that absolute rancid turd that is Alison Pearson, is it that her name? You know, because like apparently she was in the dead of the night, dragged out of her bed, scared half to death at gunpoint by Essex police because she decided to say some racist, rancid nonsense on Twitter, and it just goes to show that when it comes to their own, these people, you know, the privileged, they look after their own. And so our little Dick ties straight to the defence of our Alison Pearson.
What Alison has done is express free speech, which she's entitled to do under the European Convention of Human Rights.
Our suggestion is that we should leave the ECHR. I think it's wrong that we're a member. We don't need to be.
Well, do we live in the democracy of the United Kingdom or Keir's state of North Korea? This is utterly Orwellian. And actually what this is leading to, and it's very, very serious, is a complete collapse of confidence in justice, in policing. What Alison has done is express free speech, which she's entitled to do under the European Convention of Human Rights.
Our suggestion is that we should leave the ECHR. I think it's wrong that we're a member. We don't need to be.
Well, do we live?
There you go. Yeah. They use the European Court of Human Rights when it suits them. Absolutely, Andrew, because like during PMQs, I trying to think of the name of the Labour MP, Graham. I can't think of his second name now. I'm sure Graham Stringer. That's it. He brought it up, and I'm not sure I agree with him when he was trying to have a little go at the Essex police. Should have something better to do. If I'm honest, I don't quite agree, because I think because you can have freedom of speech, but what you say, don't get upset when what you say has consequences. Because like, I had to have a laugh the other day. As I've said many times on my channel, and on many live streams, I have friends whose political views are so far different to mine. It's unbelievable. And one of them, he put on a Facebook post about Morrissey, massive Morrissey fan, and all that, and he's this. I think it was some sort of interview he did with some, if I remember rightly, some music magazine or something, where he's talking about he's fighting for free speech, but I think he said something on a stage in Denver or something, or wherever, where he's talking about he's having his free speech taken away from him in his own country, and if you say something that they don't like, that you get sent to sort of like prison, where you get cancel prison, the sort of thing he said. And I can't make music, and it's difficult to distribute music anymore. And is there, you're playing the violin and all that, and I just couldn't help myself. I said, well, that's capitalism for you. And I just left it like, let's be honest. If he was making millions for a record company, do you think they'd really give him monkeys about what he says on the outside world, as long as they're getting their share? They won't care at all. So he's proper, this guy is proper down the rabbit hole, and his reply was Stalinist Starmer, and I just think, what? I was like, well, he does watch GBB, so that's probably where he gets all that nonsense. So I just put, so what you're basically saying is that instead of running the country, the Prime Minister is spending his time making sure that a washed-up 80s musician can't get a record deal. Strangely enough, I didn't get a reply. I wonder why. because like there's that saying, isn't there? You can say whatever you like, but don't get upset if you get repercussions for your toxic views. Yeah. But anyway, good evening, Mhairi McClare. Hope you're well, and hope you've had a lovely day. None of them care. They have no empathy or love for them and theirs. Just keep getting richer. Hope you and yours are well. Keep safe, everyone. Absolutely, Mhairi. Yeah. We're shuffling up. Well, I am. It's like it's cold today. So much so, it's like, I'm sure you've heard about my spinal operation. I have horrendous poor circulation, so I've got 2 hot water bottles on my right foot because I have no circulation in there. And when it's cold, even when it's hot, I can feel the cold in my bones. So 2 hot water bottles, 1 below, 1 above, and I can start to feel a lot better. Anyway, good evening, global citizen. Hope you're well. Hope you're very, very well. In case I missed it, I enjoyed your explanation of PMQs as the microphone tickling the tonsils, shouting. Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it, my friend. I didn't do it. Didn't put too much of it on because like too much of a Tory is just too much, isn't it? And you kind of got the gist of what it were like, but but yes, he's going to be the new shadow minister of shouting a lot. Alex Watts his chops. But yes, yeah, absolutely. It's all woke and yeah, do the okey, yes. Stopping his free speech. He never shuts up. Yeah, absolutely. I also found hilariously when it came to his saying all this, you know, with a microphone in his hand on a stage. And you know, so it's just hilarious. But anyway. But only because his music has been shite for 20 years. Yeah. Well, let's be honest. His time's gone, hasn't it? His time and relevance gone, and music moves on, doesn't it? And it just sounds like it's a case of he needs to sort of like stroke his ego because he can't handle the fact that he's past his prime, he's past his sell-by date, and when you've got an ego, you find it hard, don't you? But yeah, but I found that hilariously funny when he says she has freedom of speech under the European Court of Human Rights, and then in the same breath, and he wants to leave the European Courts of Human Rights as well. You just think, really? Morrissey, the bloke with a brush going out of his backside, I'd be miserable too if that happened to me. Yes, he's a racist too. Yes, I have heard a little. I've heard a lot about him. See, that's the thing. If you're toxic, don't be surprised if nobody wants to buy your material. It's as simple as that. And when it comes to record companies, the first things they want is they want you to be inclusive because that's how they make money, isn't it? It's just as simple as that. Yes, I did it. Yeah. Heaven knows he's miserable now. Yes, he sounds incredibly miserable. Anyway. Yes. Yes. And this is the same guy. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Could Richard Tice be the most stupidest MP in the House of Commons? I stand with Alison Pearson. Essex Police Chief Constable must apologise to Alison or be fired. He has brought policing into disrepute. And if I'm honest, most people I'll say this is what most people thought about when they first heard him.
Cause of crime and actually solve crime. Let me tell you what actually crime being solved.
Yeah, that's what my brain thought when I first heard him as well. Absolute odious little tart into pathetic individual he is. Nice has brought being human into disrepute, and he just spanked a monkey. Yeah, I was a great fan of, especially the Smiths. Yeah, the shining alley to the disenfranchised to now an arid super racist. What a swing! Yeah. Strangely enough, because like, my youngest son, he's got a wide range of. He enjoys all sorts of music, and he's been. and he plays all sorts when he's playing his games, and if you've not, as I say, when it comes to my son and my daughter, he was in the chat. They do their own little thing on their own little channel. God's last gift. As you can tell, he's incredibly humble. He plays a couple of Smiths tunes as well, and on his little beatbox while he's playing his games, and I just found a little bit weird because I just think to myself, because like in the 80s, I was more of a rocker. I had my hair down to my ankles, my drainpipe jeans, and my Iron Maiden t-shirt. But I could recognise why people did enjoy music because there was something different. But yeah, this dickhead. Good evening, Alistair Kerr, one of my fantastic moderators. Gives a thumbs up for my moderators. Been listening from start. From start, you my drive time show. Oh, thank you. I'm really that'll yeah, absolutely. Spark version. Yeah, that's probably the most sense he's ever made sense ever, because that's what he just done it. But yeah, cheers for that, Alistair. Made my days that. Yes. But yeah, give it nice thumbs up for my moderators. Mad Monk, Alistair, and Jow. I don't think he's in yet. Well, whether he does or he don't, who knows? But yes, that's how he sounds like to me. Just talks out of his arse. Anyway. But do you remember last week? There was a certain fight. There was a certain fight with a certain social media superstar and a certain washed-up fighter who's past his prime. Well, you'll get to find now that this social media superstar, as you call him, is now Jake Paul. He's now going to be looking for his next opponent.
God, it's so nice that they built an old people's home over there.
What did you say, bro?
Old people's home.
Jake, stop. Stop. Let me in there. Seriously, there's some fresh meat in there. Hold me back, bro. Hold me back. Hold me back. Hold me back. Hold me back.
You're just moving backwards.
No, I'm not a chicken, bro. I'm gonna knock their teeth out, bro.
They don't have teeth.
I'm gonna knock their teeth out of the glasses. They keep them. Oh.
Bro, chill. My grandparents, Bob and Neve, are in there.
Oh, yeah, Bob and Neve? Well, I'm about to... Bob and Weep, knock him out. Here's the thing they don't know about me, bro, okay? I fly like a butterfly, and I sting like a, what's an animal that stings?
A bee?
Yeah, a dog. I sting like a dog.
Oh, come on, bro. They're getting their flu jabs today.
Oh, yeah? Flu jabs? Wait till I give them a few jabs. Watch what I'm gonna hit him with, bro. Watch what I'm gonna hit him with. 1 inch punch, okay?
How do you know it's 1 inch?
Oh, bro, trust me, okay? I know 1 inch.
Hey, bro, I'll fight you.
Oh, yeah? How old are you, bro?
I'm 28.
Genius. Oh, that was just genius.
God, it's so nice that they built an old people's home over there.
I have to say, I just don't understand why anybody got so bent up about watching it. I had no interest, and from what I heard, it was an absolute damn squib. From what I heard, somebody said that Mike Tyson only threw about 19 punches or something. That's what I heard from. I don't know how many rounds it was, and he picked up $20 million. Now I get the feeling that they were all set up, and I get the feeling. I think he sort of like would help set up his family, because like from what I've heard, he's a bit of a reformed character. Like, you know, he's family orientated, and all the money that he did lose in his earlier life, and he just wanted this, you know, to basically set, which is fair enough, you know, if it sets up his children, fair enough. But those people, I remember reading in the morning before the fight ever said, I hope Mike Tyson knocks 10 bells out of him, this and that and the other, and they were desperate to watch it. And after, I was laughing because I think I was listening to the Nick Abbott show, and the amount of people who were just taking the rise and just taking the piss, basically saying seeing more action in a, I can't remember what the term said, but it said it was an absolute letdown. And I'm just sat there thinking, why are you surprised? I had no interest. Yeah, I'm with you, Frederick Roth. I couldn't. Yeah, absolutely. It's just all about money. On retrospect, I'd rather have had Johnny Marr and Oscar Wilde. Yes. Yeah, Oscar still got it. Certainly has. Yes. But, yeah, Jake Paul and then Grandad Basher. Yeah, I just think. It's like, if I'm honest, I kind of smelt a rat when I saw a little bit of him. When I saw a bit of an interview where he's talking to this kid where, what do you want your legacy to be? And he says, I don't care about legacy. And I'm, really? Don't every boxer want a legacy? I'm thinking, you know, you smell something in the air and think something not quite right. It's, once you're dead, you're dead. Of course, you want to be remembered as the GOAT, you know, the greatest of all time and stuff like that. I don't care what anybody says. I just thought, not right, sure. I just thought, this guy is absolutely brilliant, isn't he? Don't know this Jake Paul or his YouTube channel and don't care, but beating up granddads is frowned upon in most cultures. Yeah. Hello, Eric Davison. Hope you're well. For dollars, the greatest. Hello, Eric Davis. Hope you're well. Hope you've had a lovely day. And welcome to my Friday frolic. But when I saw that, I thought, I'm going to have to post that because I knew you guys would appreciate it, as it's quite funny. Another one who couldn't help herself. Do you know this woman has got a new book? It's called, is it Downfall? Now, I haven't managed to read her new book yet, as I've got one or two other books that I need to get through. And let's just say the Liz Truss one is hard reading because you have to get into the mindset of a complete idiot. But yes, she's doing the rounds because Downfall, that's what it's got. Explains how she exposes events behind the scenes. And all I would say is, down pants. Let's just say she says all this with a straight face, and you will not believe the nonsense she says.
We all know that some MPs get up to things that they shouldn't get up to, and occasionally it ends up in court, and sometimes in a libel court. We know all that. But you make the Palace of Westminster sound like some sort of Roman orgy. You say, when the lights are going dim, you're walking around the corridors and it's all going on.
So let's put that into context. There are a group of MPs who, and, in order to get this in the book and through the lawyers, I had to provide all the evidence of WhatsApp screen grabs and photographs and everything else to back it up.
OK, but can we just say no names?
No names.
No names. No.
So, and I'm very aware of that. So, no names. But, I wouldn't have been able to get any of that into the book unless I had absolute evidence to back it up. It's absolutely true. Let me give you an example. There are a large group of MPs in Westminster who use a group WhatsApp thread with the initials RN, which stand for right now. And there are 2 officers, and I'm aware this is breakfast. My own 3-year-old granddaughter's watching this, so I'm going to be very careful of how I explain this. Okay. There are 2 officers used in Portcullis House for group activities. Now, I'll just leave it to your imagination of what those group activities are with that WhatsApp thread.
And that's a WhatsApp...
That's a WhatsApp thread ran by one individual, controlled by one individual, in Westminster for the purposes of those group activities in those 2 offices. Now, some people have said to me and are saying to me on social media, well, it's up to individuals what they do. Absolutely. What people do in their private life, this is in a workplace, and not any workplace. No. It's a workplace that the public elect you to go and serve them in. And I compare it to who are other paid public servants? When a doctor walks into a hospital, I don't expect him to be popping into offices or, to engage in those kind. When a barrister walks into the Royal Courts of Justice, we don't expect them to behave in this way. And I'm afraid for a number of MPs in Westminster, it is more about the cheap booze and the hedonistic activities that they engage in than actually doing the job. And I have the evidence to prove that, because it is not just a few people on these WhatsApp threads. So, I have the names, I have the list of people who are on them.
What is it about being in the Palace of Westminster, being in the House of Commons? You mentioned the booze, the cheap booze at the Commons bar. What is it that seems to sharpen so many MPs' sexual appetites?
I think they arrive in Westminster, it's the men, by the way. This isn't the women. This is the men. The women take the job very seriously. This is the men. And I think they arrive in Westminster, and it's very much ego-driven. They feel very special, because they've been elected to go to this very important place, and I think it just goes to their head and somewhere else, actually.
Yes, she said all that with a straight face. I think some of that's where she was talking a little bit about herself. Well, she certainly wasn't talking about herself when she said the women work very hard. Well, she certainly wasn't, was she? Especially near the end, she barely turned up, did she? Yes, but hey up, Joe Lefty, hope you're well, and welcome to my Friday Frolic. When I saw, listen to that, I'm thinking, she's got some front, hasn't she? It's like she just talks some of the most utter rollicks, include, yeah, I guess that must include Boris, yes. Yeah. Yes, Maidley the wine thief. Yes, okay. But yes, she's trying to explain this to a 3-year-old granddaughter. Yeah, exactly. It's not exactly something you'd talk about. Does she mean serving cocktails and champagne? Downfall, same title as the German movie about the last days of Hitler. Well chosen title. She's trying to be the master of Doctor Who, but she's been written by Chris Chibnall. Did I say that right, Andrew? Yes. Dorries enjoyed it through, though, but was gutted that Spafford didn't give her one. Yes, Yes, I think you might be onto something there. Do you mean a peerage or something else, though? Well, the absolute front of her. She tries to make out as though she made
We all
a
know
difference.
that some MPs get up to things that they should.
Shut up. She try to make it out as though she made a difference to her constituency. She was never there at the end, was she? She's got some front. Now, I found this quite interesting. And said, when it comes to this Trump deal, when it comes to this Trump deal, so that you've got they're basically trying to say that no, honestly, that in this American trade deal, the NHS will not be up for sale. Other people think otherwise.
The arrival of Donald Trump, everyone's second-guessing, but we don't have to second-guess. He said he loves tariffs. How difficult is this for the UK?
I mean, it's incredibly difficult. There's no point hiding it. I mean, the UK is essentially in an invidious position, for reasons that Catherine said, outside the EU. It's not straightforward to simply, get better access to the single market or even the customs union. To do that would be a reversal of the Brexit settlement, for which there's no appetite much in the country, certainly not in the government. From the US point of view, I mean, it's easy to say do a trade deal with the US. The reality is, what does that actually involve? It's not tariffs aren't even the big question. We don't have tariffs from the EU, but we're outside the single market. With the US, what that would mean essentially is a kind of a change of the regulatory regime. That means taking in agricultural produce. I mean, we're going to talk later about farmers. I don't think UK farmers want to take all of American agriculture without any protection. It might mean, for example, opening up the NHS to provision by private US companies.
Both of those, Raphael, I'm sorry.
I'm just saying that there are lots of demands.
Both of those things are not on the table. No government would concede to those points.
If they're not on the table, but then how do you do a deal?
Nor are those really hard.
Nor are those the requirements of the US administration. They don't want the NHS, and it's not about selling us chlorinated chicken. That nobody thinks that is serious. We could, of course, be doing deals with them on financial services, on tech, on the new industries of the future. It might be sector specific. I agree, and I do recognise that it's really difficult. By the way, it's not easy, but I don't think we should give up on the idea.
But the reality is, if the UK's position is, OK, well, we can't get a better deal than the one we've already got with the EU, so we need to align ourselves entirely with the US, we are as weak in a position negotiating with the US as we were with the single market. And you're essentially taking dictation. And the problem, the issue that, for example, the Brexit, people in favour of Brexit argued about the danger of vassalage to Brussels in the argument about Brexit, would be exactly the same one that you would have with regards to the US administration. It would be a position of vassalage. And it's very, very difficult to thread the needle where you essentially say, well, we'd like to sort of stay out of a sort of tariff trade war between the US and the EU, and we get special deals here and there, cherry pick, but actually we'll just sit here in the middle, get the best of Catherine.
But we're not going to be,
very difficult.
and we're not going to be.
Yeah, exactly. If the NHS isn't on the table, then why would chlorinated chicken in on the table? Then why would be interested in doing a deal? Because you think they're going to open their meat markets? You could say for our farmers, you could say, I bet they won't. I can imagine those in the House and the Senate will be getting a lot of earache if they did. So that won't be happening. So what else have we got to offer? The NHS. So exactly, Tom. Beggars can't be choosers, and absolutely. And I'll say if I'm honest, Frederick Roth. Yeah. I thought it was well over a year that our hard-working mad nad wasn't even in Parliament for well over a year. and that's what it is. But like us, when it comes to all these cretins who told us the best way to vote is that we hold all the cards, and clearly we're in a position where we don't now, do we? And with him talking about these tariffs, Could be a case of might have to buckle up because it's going to be a bumpy ride by the looks of it. Starmer was visiting private investors in the US before election for NHS. Well, if he does, I think he could be in a spot of bother then, because I don't care what political divide you're on, whether you're a Tory or not, or whoever you want. We all hold the NHS with great respect, and we certainly would not want to lose it, would we? But yeah, I'll say these were just little clips that I found very, very interesting.
Arrival of Donald Trump.
And since now we've got the orange one, you know, for 4 more years. Strangely enough, when it comes to the orange one, is it me, or has he been incredibly quiet since he's got elected? It's as like you hardly hear anything. I'm just wondering whether he just doesn't really care. I just get the feeling I've won now, and do away with all these court cases. Once I've done, I'll just do a bit of golfing, serve out my time quietly. That's if he does. Who knows? I failed running for federal office at least 3 times. Yeah. So absolutely, Andrew. Look, yeah, it's something that I've noticed. You seem to hear more about Space Karen than our Donny, which I just found very, very interesting. Somebody with an ego the size of Bournemouth, you know, as big as his, you'd think you'd be hearing a lot more from him, but you just seems to be very, very quiet. But yeah, if I remember, that's Raphael Burr. I think he's a columnist for The Guardian, if I remember rightly. But you're very, very interesting. And Danny Kruger trying to pretend that nobody was selling the NHS. Could be onto some of their number 3. Trump may simply be knackered. Yeah. Linda McMahon. Yes. Well, I've got a little interesting one for a little bit of a clip on that. Be interesting for our Reagan alike, because we know how much our Reagan loves his wrestling. Should be more worried when the kids are quiet. They are likely to be up to something. Very much so. But anyway, this, I think, does the Tory show Kuntzberg have a show on Sunday? Oh, I'm only asking because I don't watch it. I have more important things to do, like you know, wash me rubber duck than watch this. But what I find interesting, it's you can tell she doesn't even hide her love for the Tory party, especially this questioning with when it comes to, I've forgotten her name now. Who is it? Louise Hay, and is she Transport Secretary, if I remember rightly? Well, she gets a questioning that, a cross-examining that is rather, she just makes it blatantly obvious.
Didn't drive a hard bargain when it came to the train drivers' strike. So you got people back to work by offering them pretty chunky inflation-busting pay deals. What strings did you attach to that offer?
Well, firstly,
yeah, down with giving people a decent wage, yeah.
It wasn't inflation busting because we were looking for the last 3 years, it was actually below inflation, and the previous
Put
government.
it all together, it was a generous deal.
It was
a
deal over 3 years when inflation at that period had been 12%, and we set it at 4.5%.
But what strings did you attach?
So we had agreements with the drivers' union in particular to take forward agreements around training, and we're going through those agreements at the moment in order to look at moving to a competency-based training, which will improve the settlement for the taxpayer and improve and streamline delivery of particularly new rolling stock when it comes on. There are loads of archaic settlements across the railways that we're finding every day, and we need to work with the unions and with the employers, the operators at the moment, to get through them and to make sure that we have a modern, efficient set of terms and conditions for the railways, because I'm very clear we don't have that at the moment. But I inherited a picture where we had the longest running industrial dispute on our railways, and it was my priority to fix that, to get that back to work, to restore confidence in the railways. And then when we have a less combative environment, then we can work to deliver those workforce reforms. And I'm pleased that we're already starting to see progress on that.
You hope they'll do it, but they have already had the pay deal. It's good to have you with us for the first time, but we have talked about you and your job before. Many viewers will remember, they might have heard of you for the first time when your reviews on the ferry company, P&O, were reported. Do you still think that P&O is a rogue operator?
I think everyone agrees that.
If it had been me, if I'd have been in that job and asked that question, I don't think my Prime Minister would have been happy with me. I'd have said, yeah, absolutely, should have thrown the book at him.
What P&O Ferries did 2.5 years ago was completely unacceptable. It was illegal.
A rogue operator.
I think I accept that my language, was an unhelpful distraction at the time, particularly at that moment. But what I am pleased that we are able to have done as a government, and what I think was lost in the reporting, was that we are legislating to ensure that P&O Ferries' illegal sacking of those 800 workers can never happen again.
And would you get on a P&O ferry now? At the time you said you'd boycott it and other people should do so too.
I would like to see P&O Ferries implement their Seafarers Charter and abide by the minimum wage regulations that we are bringing into force on the 1st of December. And then I'd be very happy to get on a P&O ferry.
OK.
Yeah. Don't make it obvious, Laura, And hello, Robot Monkey. Hope you're well and hope you've had a lovely day. And welcome to my Friday Frolic, where we try not to be too serious and take the piss out of people who deserve to be taken the piss out of. Like this clown. Yes. Yes, that's what we all think of our Laura Kunsberg. The Kunsberg scale, fairness measured in kilopounds, don't look like it. I care, Labour. Do I look like I care? Lovely to have you back, Conservatives. And that just sums up our Laura Kunsberg. She doesn't even hide it anymore, does she? Yeah, she doesn't even hide it anymore. We all saw that interview she did with Ed Daver. Congratulations, I suppose. Yeah. Yeah. Plunge bog, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, fella monkey. Yes, we've got Robot Monkey and Spank the Monkey. It's like a sleep paralysis deep. Should we write up your alley then, my love? I know you love your skulls and your dragons and all that stuff. Maybe it needs to be sacked. Absolutely, she does. She needs to be sacked. Vile individual. I've no time for her. And then this is hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. It's like, remember on Tuesday, we have to spare a thought for all those downtrodden millionaire landowners who conclusively proved that we do have a two-tier police system. If you'd been wandering around with a Palestine flag or basically slowing down traffic, to try and highlight climate change, you will be treated like a terrorist and they will want you hung, drawn and quartered, have your head stuck on a spike at Traitor's Gate, and then the rest of your body slung in prison to the rest of your days, so to speak, and the keys of your prison slung into the Thames for your absolute disgraceful behaviour. But if you're a millionaire landowner who owns a farm to dodge tax, oh, that's fine. You know, these are freedom fighters standing up for your rights. But this is a hilarious little. What are the farmers planning?
You're watching Sky News Today. Still to come, farmers preparing to protest in Westminster as inheritance tax anger grows. We'll be speaking to cereal farmer Ollie Harrison. You're watching Sky News Today. Still.
Yes, exactly. What are they planning? It's a bit extreme. Bring rockets down to absolutely Billy Kershaw or a Pakistani flag in Manchester. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this is your two-tier place, and let the humanitarians rot and the free ride for the black shirts. Yes, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, what exactly are they planning there? Intercept missiles or whatever? Oh, good God. But I just thought that was quite hilariously funny, and then it just descended into madness, didn't it, really, when it come to these ridiculous farmers. Because then you have the clown from the is it the NFU? He's on the show, you know, to add balance, you know. So what do you think of the poor rich farmers, you know, with their who are hiding their millions to dodge paying taxes? You know, they are downtrodden, you know. It's just pathetic.
There's also the human impact of this policy that I believe has been completely overlooked. And anybody that's not likely to live 7 years, and there are many people, octogenarians or older, that until the 30th of October, the very best tax advice was to keep your farm until death. Those people have absolutely no way to plan through this, particularly where they've already lost one part of a couple. The inheritance tax is going to be way lower than the £3 million that the Prime Minister talks about there, or the threshold. They're probably going to get £1.325 million. They cannot plan their way out of this, and that will be the end of that family business.
I'm not clear why you and the NFU think it's unfair that some farmers will have to pay half the inheritance tax that everyone else has to pay.
So very few people pay inheritance tax. I think it's less than 4% of society, full stop, pay any inheritance tax. But there's also this element of, surely when you bring about a change like this, first of all, there must be an impact assessment.
No, you're not answering the question. Why is it unfair that farmers are a special case compared to absolutely everybody else?
So when we look at when we're obviously producing the country's food, when we look at the margins that's being made from food production, unfortunately, food price inflation has not kept up with real terms inflation for the last 4 or 5 decades. We're making 0.5% return on producing this country's food that everybody benefits from.
So that's why your members shouldn't pay inheritance tax?
Absolutely. We're not generating the cash to pay it.
Now, the thing is, for me, I'll say earlier on in the week, I did a couple of videos, you know, one with it was Nick Abbott, where he's having he had a bit of a fight with a guy from Wales. I think it's Malcolm. To be fair, Malcolm, he's one of the regulars, and they had a bit of a set to about it, and that on the lunatic called Charlie, who proper lost his shit. And a lot I've said on them, I don't really have a strong opinion on this, because I don't know too much about farming, and because I get the feeling that could possibly be, you know, farmers who may get caught in this. I'm not too sure on it, but the thing is, what I've been hearing from most people is they seem to be saying that really, what makes you different to anybody else? So I just find that, and when you hear the saying, won't you think about the, and from what I've heard, it's very few people are going to be affected by this, and let's be honest, from what I can gather, the ones who are really affected by it seem to be those who are buying land up for just to hide their, to not pay tax. And now, if I remember right, there'll be people in the chat more intelligent than me on this. In this sort of thing, driving up the price of land anyway, so that's really affecting real farmers. Not these like CEOs from London, buying up land to so not to pay tax. Yes, absolutely, Frederick Roth. Yeah, they're shooting rockets at Westminster. Disgraceful. And I can't read and I can't write, but that don't really matter, because I had loads of land and can drive a tractor. Yeah. Also, when they were driving around London, am I right in thinking that they didn't have to pay the ULEZ charge either? Yeah. Yeah, I admit to having issues following this. These arseholes gathering around the issue just confuse me and give me much diminishing sympathy for farmers. I'm with you, Andrew. Yeah. Hope we're successful in finding that world's smallest violin, Spank the Monkey. People like things but don't want to have to pay for them. That's what it sounds like to me. Clarkson got his arse spanked at the protest, got caught out big time. Well, as you would have it. I think I know what you mean, but I wanted to share this little bit of a clip of the legend that is Mhairi Black. I'm very proud to have a lot of people who subscribe to my channel and follow what I do from Scotland, and to be honest, this young lady was absolute dynamite in the House of Commons, and I have to say I got a fair few views from her dynamite speeches, and let's just say she's somebody who's a national treasure and such a crying shame she's not involved. But when I saw this, Mhairi Black, she just hit the nail on the head.
I'm kind of like yourself, Victoria, at the start here, where I'm not understanding why there's so much heat around this. Because if we're talking about what like you said at the beginning, a tax which affects less than 5% of deaths actually result in an inheritance tax bill, then it's about
people die every year, 500.
But it's about understanding then, is this a case of farmers who are working their knuckles down to the bone, living on the breadline, but happen to be sitting on assets? Or is this people like Jeremy Clarkson? Because if you're asking the general public who can't afford to pay their bills, who can't get a doctor's appointment, who can't get a house, to feel sorry for millionaires like Jeremy, then I just don't see how it's feasible.
Yes, I'm with Mhairi Black, yeah, and you're not the first person I've heard say that, Alistair. Yeah, I think, to be honest, a land tax would have been better in my opinion. Yeah, you're not the first person I've heard to say that. Farmers voted for Brexit and lost their EU subsidies. Well, you reap what you sow, plus its assets over 3.5 million, and I'm sure there's very few farmers with those types of assets. Yeah, exactly. Damn, she will be greatly missed. this wonderful. Yeah, she was absolutely brilliant. I still remember watching her maiden speech, and she was just absolutely brilliant. You know, for such a young lass, you know, absolutely brilliant. I still remember during the time of the COVID when she did a speech where she got rather accosted by the speaker for saying they were all in number 10 getting all pissed. and then she said, well, inebriated. I'll just say that. But yeah, she's just absolutely dynamite, and she, as it, for an SNP MP, she'll be sadly missed, won't she? But yeah, it's I'm with as she just scuppered the independence cause. Now that I don't know. It's the first time I've seen Mhairi Black, but when I heard what she said, I just kind of agreed with her. But like you say, one or two people saying about the farmer Brexit thing might have been overstated, whether or not throwing their lot in with Clarkson and Farage suggests they deserve scorn. Well, yeah. Now, I remember, I think it was just not long before the referendum result, I was going down for a weekend trip down to Southend because it was last away game for Bradford City, and the tradition is that when it comes to the last away game, you go in fancy dress, and being the idiot that I am, I partaked in this ridiculous tradition where I dressed up as a priest. So wobbled into Southend. Absolutely fist as a part or what. But anyway, on the way down, you stop off to the trick is, when you set off, you're in a minibus, no toilet. Trick is 2 litre milk bottle, and you do your business that way. And then once it gets full, pull up. The grass gets a watering at the side of the motorway, and as I was stood there, I noticed a farm field with a Brexit sign, and I noticed a few of them had the vote for Brexit. Now, some of them, they might not have been owning their own land. It might have been, could possibly have been the owners who owned the land who put the signs. I don't know. But that always stuck out for me. That just always stuck out for me was that. And whenever I hear net batters or when they're talking about the farmers who are not happy with the Brexit, I always go back to that moment, where just emptying his bottles, see the milk cartons, and seeing the Brexit signs, so it was always interesting. All right, so the farmer. So yeah, even if they do have assets, about 3 million, they will 10 years with 10 years interest free, in which pay what they owe. How many other businesses get that? Well, yeah, it's like as I say when you're talking to that guy from Malcolm from Wales, he says, what makes you different to anybody else? And I read an interesting article by Richard Murphy, the economist. He says, well, why would you want to carry on working in a profession where you're losing money? Why would you continue? And I thought, yeah, that's an interesting way of looking at it. I just think, why would you want to continue slogging your guts out in an industry where you're not making any money? So, and like I said, I get the feeling the chances are there probably will be some farmers who will be affected by this. But And like I just say, I wanted to show this because I just found this little bit of a 2-minute clip quite interesting. But it's an important fact check on the proposed farming reforms by, is it Ben? I don't quite know his full name. The inheritance will apply only to the value above value above $1 million, and in most cases 2.5 million. Not to all. Get my teeth in. Not to all of it, and it is still half the rate that anyone else would pay for passing property of that value to their kids.
How many farms will be affected by the changes to inheritance tax in the budget? Well, farming groups are claiming around 70,000 in total, but the Treasury estimates fewer than 500 a year. But there have been reports that the Environment Department, DEFRA, thinks the number might be higher than the Treasury's figure and has been pushing for more mitigations to protect farmers. So what's the reality on these numbers and where do they come from? Well, DEFRA's Farm Business Survey suggests between 30 and 35% of farms in the UK could be valued at over £1 million. There are about 209,000 farm holders in the UK in total, so that implies around 70,000. But all of these would not be necessarily liable for inheritance tax. Let's look at the official Treasury figures for agricultural property tax relief in the 2021-22 tax year. So this gives us a sense of the value of farmland passed between generations in that year. And there were 1,730 claims in total, and only 27% were for properties valued at above £1 million. So that suggests a maximum of around 500 farms which would have been affected by the tax change, which is the origin of the Treasury's figures. So these are the raw numbers, but there's some very important context for them. First, under the changes in the budget, people passing farms on to their descendants would still be facing a lower rate of inheritance tax than people passing on similar assets, 20% versus 40%. And this lower rate will be charged on the value above £1 million, not the total value. In addition, there are various inheritance reliefs, such as those available to married couples, which tax experts estimate could bring the effective tax-free amount for many farmers to more than £2.5 million, not £1 million. Second, some economists argue the value of the inheritance tax exemption for farms, since it was introduced in 1984 under Margaret Thatcher's government, has pushed up the average value of farmland because some wealthy people have used it specifically to avoid inheritance tax, a trend that isn't necessarily financially beneficial to ordinary working farmers.
Yeah, very interesting. Good evening, Walrus. I hope you're well. Yeah, it's higher, just nobody cares or thinks about my country, the country that has 1/3 of their overall agriculture of the entirely of the UK at any one moment in time. Yeah, I get the feeling this is quite a prickly subject in Wales. Yes, this has similarities to the winter fuel payment. The bar could be higher. Don't know yeah. Strangely enough, you stole my thunder a little bit there, because I have that little feeling that it is a little bit like, and also in a little bit similar way to the 2-child cap as well, isn't it? So I kind of get where you're coming from, because I just think, wouldn't you rather it be a little bit higher? You know, so. Who knows, but I did read a little bit of an article in, is it the London Economic? I can't quite remember. It says apparently since these protests, it's boosted Labour's polls. Now polls are polls, so just take it with a big bag full of salt. But I just thought, if that's true, I just thought, how interesting. But anyway, I I just found that little clip quite interesting. As I say, I try and understand the situation with the farming as much as I can. And like as I said, in videos that I've done, I don't have a strong opinion either way. Yeah, absolutely spanked a monkey. Yeah, maggot snatcher. Yes. Or as Nick Abbott would say, maggot Thatcher. Yes, because that, I've never worked on a farm, never been on a farm, so I don't know. But the thing is, what I find interesting is, we all remember this clip, don't we? This cretin. I think what could it? I don't think people like this cretin helps the farmers' cause at all. I don't. It's like, this is just priceless, and it just shows you what a horrible individual he is. You know.
So why are you here, Mr. Clarkson?
Well, because I'm here to support farmers.
Right. Are you angry?
It's difficult to be angry on somebody else's behalf. That's like being... Yes, no, I'm not angry on someone else's behalf.
Right. So it's not about you. It's not about your farm and the fact that you bought a farm to avoid inheritance tax.
Classic BBC there. Classic. Oh, yeah. It's not the fact that I bought a farm to avoid inheritance tax. The fact.
You told the Sunday Times in 2021 that's why you bought it.
These people.
Sorry?
BBC. Okay, let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
I wanted a shoot. Okay.
Yeah. So the thing is, where did he get his big break from? Where did he make it first? The BBC. Yeah. Typical.
That's even worse to the BBC. I wanted a shoot, which comes with the benefit of not having to pay inheritance tax. Now I do. But people like me will simply put it in a trust. And so long as I live for 7 years, that's fine. And as my daughter said, you will live for 7 years. You might be in a deep freeze at the end of it, but you will live for 7 years. But it's incredibly time-consuming to have to do that. And why should all these people have to do that? Why should they?
So one of the reasons Rachel Reeves says she brought this in is to stop wealthy people using it as a way.
No, that was the only reason she did.
Well, no, the other reason was to raise money for public services. Well, have you seen...
Are you listening to this?
Have you tried to get a GP appointment lately?
Yes,
Right.
I just recently had a heart attack.
Okay, so you know it's tough.
Yes.
So where should they get the money from if it's not from farmers?
From farmers. You hear that, everyone?
With
BBC
assets.
thinks you should be paying for everything.
Mr. Clarkson,
Okay,
you
do
know
you
it's
know
not the
how many
BBC
people pay inheritance tax in this country?
It's 4% of estates.
What?
4% of estates.
4% pay inheritance tax. 96% of the population of the UK does not pay inheritance tax. After this becomes law, 96% of farmers will.
Where have you got that figure from?
From his arse.
Here, can I just ask, who here is going to be unaffected by these changes? No one.
Right. Where have you got
I
the
know.
96% figure
Well,
from?
you've got 96%. Well, the same place that Rachel Reeves does, from the middle of her head.
Right.
From the Sixth Form Debating Society that she was no doubt a
Yeah,
member
straight
of.
to the
Which
insults.
formed her opinions and yours.
I am not expressing opinions.
Are you
I'm
sure?
literally asking you questions. You know that, Mr. Clarkson.
Right.
So, what is your message to this government?
Please back down, please.
And get the money from where?
Well, they've got 40 billion. I'll tell you where you get the... Walk into any of the offices around here. If you don't understand what somebody's job is, fire them.
And how
The civil
far-
service... Civil service is too top, you know that. I must get on.
Yeah, exactly. You know, gets called out. You has his words used against him, and he just, yeah, exactly. Good evening, Donkey Dave, the legend that is, Donkey Dave. If you're not subscribed to this man's channel, what are you doing? You certainly learn a hell of a lot more than what you learn here. I just make an idiot of myself and do silly live streams once a week. Yes, he's Stephen Fry in Blackadder 4th. Yes. Yeah. Exactly, Joe Lefty. What a bell tap. Because he's like, I see, the thing is, I don't try and get too have much of a. Yeah, exactly, Billy Kershaw. Where's Long John? Yes. Good evening, my friend Donkey Dave. Please like and subscribe. The legend that is Donkey Dave. Absolutely brilliant. Especially with his wakey wakey. Honour and privilege to see you, my good friend. But yes, she just rightly owned him, and you could tell he got right upset about it. And this is the thing where I just think, I think there'll be legitimate farmers who will be unhappy about this, but when you have clowns like this guy, and especially after he said that, remember when he said that long ago, Mr. Clarkson went. This is what he said when others went on strike, by the way. Mr. Clarkson went on, frankly, I'd have them all shot. I would take them outside and execute them in front of their families. I mean, how dare they go on strike when they have these gilt-edged pensions that are going to be guaranteed while the rest of us have to work for a living. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, this is... Yes, man of the people, Clarkson. If I remember rightly, these people who were absolutely torn, typical BBC, if only. Yes. Oh, thank you, my moderators. Yes, my moderators have left a link in for the legend that is Donkey Dave. Yeah, absolutely, Donkey Dave. He did. He actually, man, I remember watching it. And as somebody, I was on strike at the time, I thought, I cannot stand this self-entitled prick. But yeah, that's what he I think we were on, I think it was striking about austerity or something. Yeah, damn, tell us what you really think moment. Yes, exactly, my lovely daughter, yes. That's what he said. I even remember watching him on telly saying it. And then he tried to backtrack and say, oh, it was a joke. Well, he didn't look, nobody were laughing, and he didn't look like he were laughing. I just meant that I claim political left in the UK do the work for the political right, because all we do is use their talking points and reference uphold Clarkson as a voice. Well, maybe, but maybe have a point. But like, as I say, when it came to this, was an interesting interview after the interview with Jeremy Clarkson. This is what, who is it? Adam Quinney had to say about it.
Having multi-millionaires like Jeremy Clarkson who have boasted about doing this intentionally to dodge inheritance tax, is that unhelpful?
I think it is, actually. I mean, Jeremy is clickbait, isn't he? You know, Jeremy likes to be outrageous because he gets more people. Yeah, that's always been his mode of operandum, hasn't he? That's what he does.
Having multi-millionaires.
Nope, nobody speaks for us daily as nobody cares. Well, I'm sure. Yeah, of course we care. Well, we try to. It's an odd way of saying it. Forgive me, it's a silly way of saying it. But as somebody who spent a little bit of time in Wales and thoroughly enjoyed it, I've always had fond memories. And I understand where you come from, because, like, if I'm honest, when it comes to the Welsh select committees, I have thought about, doing something with them. But the trouble is, I suppose in a bit of a way, you actually have a point, because nobody'd watch it. So I think in a way you're probably right on that. Yeah. Because I've thought about it, like I've watched the odd couple of, but I know full well nobody will watch it. So I think you may have a point. But yeah, see, this is the thing for me. I don't think these, when it came to this, they didn't really help the cause. And another one.
And Lord Andrew Lloyd-Webber is down here this morning. It is cold, it is wet, but you are down here. Why?
Well, I farm about just under 5,000 acres myself, but I'm not here because of me or anything like that. I'm here to support the small farmers. I mean, they are the absolute salt of the earth. They're the people who really keep our countryside going. I am a passionate, lover of the countryside. In my way, I've done what I can with my farm, which we've farmed now for 40 years, quietly. We don't bang the drum about that. But I'm here to really entirely for the small farmers, not for myself.
What is the fear, Andrew? What would your fear be should this tax impact these farms in the longer term?
In the longer term, what will happen is they'll all be bought by probably foreigners, outsiders, people who are not buying it for the love of the countryside. They're buying it purely as a long-term investment. Many, many, many people hovering around at the moment, rubbing their hands in glee about all of this, and I can assure you they're not British.
And why do you think the government are not concerned about that?
Because I think they got confused. I think that they confused people who have been buying land just for the sake of buying land to avoid inheritance tax with the people who actually farm the land and do it themselves,
So it's a myth, isn't it, that all the farmers are swimming in cash?
Well, of course it's a myth. I mean, they may on paper have a big asset, but in practice that asset produces nothing. And I read a really, very good comment made that if actually somebody came on Dragon's Den and said that this asset only pays back sort of 0.2%, which is what most farms do, Dragon Den would say, this ain't a business.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Donkey Dave, yeah. He says he might have to, yeah, yeah, I'm not here for me, yeah. This is the same, says the same thing that Jeremy Clarkson said. But yeah, in other words, he is there for him. But when it comes to when it really matters, he shows his true colours. Yes, Andrew Lloyd-Webber flew in from New York to vote to cut tax credits to the poor. Yeah, exactly. It would have been better better interviewing the dog. With a Lloyd-Webber away from his farm, who's scaring the crows. Good evening, Flummox. I hope you're well. But if they say, "Oh, we're not here for me," yeah, secretly they are, and just secretly, yeah, exactly. Why is he carrying this dog? Dog too. Lloyd-Webber, yeah. Yeah, Lloyd-Webber has bought and owns 6 theatres in central London. With all those properties, he makes Jeremy Tax Dodge Farm seem like an allotment. Yeah. Yes, absolutely, yes. In Cumber's case, agricultural areas are the stronghold of our language. This has already taken impact because of inflation, forcing farmers to sell off land in order to apply for a subsidy. You've seen his poor doctor look. You've seen his poor doctor look good. Yeah. It's like I did listen to the interview with Malcolm from Wales with fascination, and it just seems quite clearly that that it is quite the prickly subject in Wales. So, but all right. Well, that can't remember. I can't remember what that was, but anyway, it doesn't really matter. Now, we all love these guys, don't we? And what I loved about this little clip, something he said that I just found very, very interesting. We all love the exploding heads, don't we? And when he talked about these protests, the guy, Colin from Portsmouth, said something very interesting. I think it rings true. I think it's cracking bit of satire that speaks a bit of truth.
Colin from Portsmouth's on the line. Hello, Colin.
I am disgusted, Anthony. Absolutely disgusted. You can't even buy hundreds of acres of farmland to avoid inheritance tax anymore. Just who do the Labour Party think they are?
This is about the farmers' protests, aren't they, Colin? It's very complicated.
Yeah, if you're trying to make the rich pay their fair share, then you're going about this the wrong way. Without that loophole, we wouldn't have had 3 entertaining series of agricultural television on Amazon Prime.
Right.
Does Keir Starmer not care for the creative industries anymore? What's he going to make farmers watch now? Bloody country file?
Clarkson can put his money into a trust, I think, to instead. That's what he said yesterday, anyway.
Oh, so we all have to watch Clarkson's trust fund on Netflix now, do we? Labour really are sucking the joy out of this nation.
I've seen worse shows on Netflix, and yes, this is affecting quite a few farmers, but not as many as people say. But it's the loudest voices of the richest who are causing uproar, isn't it, Colin? The people with the biggest farms.
And that's how protests work in this country, mate. Poor people didn't get their £20 universal credit cut reversed, did they? Why not? Because they didn't have Lord Sir Hoover Dyson with a megaphone outside Big Ben shouting about it.
Fair enough, yeah.
If government policy is affecting you and you want it changed, you better hope one of the affected has a Coots bank account. Anyway, mate, thanks for having me on. Love to the family.
Love to the family, Colin. Love to the family.
Next, they'll be complaining about Brexit.
But yeah, he hit on something that I think, yeah, the only way you'll get anywhere is if you got some rich guy with a megaphone or somebody with a bank account from Coates, and I just thought, I think he's onto something there. I don't. Yeah, go, Colin. Yeah, absolutely. Outline the hypocrisy. Cymru have outlined the hypocrisy and contradictions in the Welsh Labour position, and just highlights that Welsh Labour only uphold Westminster oppression for us. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, as I say, when it comes to our Colin from Portsmouth, absolutely brilliant. But I did what he said there, you know, if you wanted to get your £20 uplift in your universal credit, all you needed was some rich guy with a megaphone or somebody who's got a bank account in Coates to shout loudest for you. What chances is that going to be? What chances are that going to happen? None. Slim to none, if that. Anyway, let's have a bit of a welcome break, because let's just say when it comes to American politics, let's just say that from what I can gather, if this is the new president's first cabinet meeting, what could possibly go wrong? Put it away, Elon. Nobody wants to say that. With a Big Mac high up in the air. DJ spinning like a compass. RFK Jr. while raising up the rumpus. Plane shaking, turbulence ain't acting right. Fries in
Air Force One chaos, who's gonna deny? Dancers popping out from behind the seats. Everyone strapped in, it's a mid-air feat. DJ's beats.
So you see, what could possibly go wrong? It's definitely still never listening to any of Webber's songs anymore. No, neither will I, actually. Yeah. I wondered if they might have done. Yeah, I just copped it on somewhere on Twitter, and I just found that hilariously funny. I'm going through a spiritual awakening. What the hell is happening? Yeah, this is the golden hour of care being forced to choke down at McDonald's after criticising Dumpy's horrible diet. Yes. But yeah, what could possibly go wrong? Jesus Christ! This is. Anybody thinks this is? I don't know. It's just absolutely mental what's happening over. It doesn't really matter. Number 3. It's not as if I'm making any money, and if any comes back at it, I'll just take it out anyway. So not a problem. No, but yeah, it's like I said earlier on. I'm just thinking he's been very, very quiet. And you look at some of the appointments he's tried to make, like with Matt Gates. You just get the feeling, I don't really think he cares. I just think he's won, and I just get the feeling. Yeah, exactly. Cheers for reminding me, Alistair Carey. If you're not subscribed to Number 3's channel, subscribe. My apologies, Number 3. Do forgive me, but I just don't think he really cares. I just think he's more interested in just making sure that he doesn't get charged with anything, gets off with everything, just go play his golf now, and let everybody else do their bit, whatever they like, and do the worst with what is it, Project 2025. So, when I saw that, I just thought, well, hilariously funny, made me chuckle. Now, I have to say, this is quite interesting. No worries, Number 3. Pleasure's all mine. This is very, very interesting. This talks about, I've forgotten the name of the is it the AI thing he's created? That basically was just said that you basically just, looking for anything, that, well, I'll just let it explain it for you.
Chatbot called. Recently, an ex-user asked Musk's artificial intelligence chatbot called Grok, quote, who personally spreads the most misinformation on X? Grok's reply singled out its creator, Elon Musk, as a top contributor. Quote, based on various analyses, social media sentiment, and reports, Elon Musk has been identified as one of the most significant spreaders of misinformation on X since he acquired the platform, end quote. Wow, that's something. The platform you own and control, identifying you as the worst offender.
How interesting, eh? How interesting. The thing is, he's invented calls him out as the worst spreader of misinformation and conspiracy theories. How interesting. Now, I don't know how many of you people who've Well, yeah, Frederick, not surprising, is it? It's something that I've seen loads of people leaving, what they call it, X in their droves, and going over to Blue Sky. Now I've moved on to Blue Sky. I quite enjoy it, actually. It's a lot different to the nonsense that you have to deal with. I only keep my X because it just helps me do what I do here, and for my Friday frolic, do funny stuff that we can all have a good giggle and a laugh. Yeah. Good evening, Natalia. Hope you're well. If I butchered that, I do apologise. I honestly cannot believe that he still has a job. He is contradicting the police and the government, planting conspiracy. Honestly, what the hell? Yeah. Have to be so bad that AI knows you shite. Don't sit on the fence, my lovely daughter. Just tell us what you really think. Muskie there going to burn him, metaphorically, yes. Or as they would say, they're going to burn him in Minecraft. Yeah. As I say, I'm same here as well. Number 3. I only keep if Blue Sky does bookmarks, I'll probably, because like my wife, she's left Twitter, and she's been saying she's been going to do it for a while, but because she just finds it just too toxic for her. She can't deal with the shite she has to deal with. Yes, let's use his correct name. Please use Alania. Very good point, Spanked a Monkey. Blue Sky is great, identical to Twitter in look, and more positive, of course. Don't delete your Twitter. You can use it to export people you are following to Blue Sky from before Elon will stop that. Is that right? Oh, interesting. If I'm honest, what I like about the new Blue Sky, you get them starter packs. They're quite interesting. Check out some of it. Thompson's AI tunes. Yes, I have heard one or two. Very interesting. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the First Lady. But I just found that quite interesting. Yeah, that some of that you've created yourselves called you out for your conspiracy theories and your misinformation. How apt. Who wants to hear who wants to hear the pearls of wisdom from Mitch McConnell?
So, now that Donald J. Trump has been re-elected president, I'd like to extend my turtle shell in a gesture of cooperation and healing to the deep tension that has existed between Donald Trump and myself. But I would like to also send a stern Mitch McConnell warning to President-elect Donald Trump. There will be no recess appointments. We're not going to play your games. We will confirm your cabinet full of criminals, psychopaths, and incompetents the old-fashioned way, by giving you enough votes to make them legitimate. But if you try any of this recess appointment bullshit, we will get very angry and maybe let you do it anyway. So this is Mitch McConnell letting you know that the new boss in the Senate is the same as the old boss. until I leave and freeze to death. Congratulations, President-elect Trump.
Yeah, let that be a warning to you, Trump. You're not going to have everything your own way, you know. Not while Mitch McConnell's about. Yeah, and that's absolutely right. He's nailed the voice. Mitch the Glitch yeah. Oh, yes. I don't do social media. I'll leave that to you peeps. I want to enjoy my insanity. Totally. I can go without my friend Mad Monk. Yeah, I can. I'll say if Blue Sky had bookmarks, I'd just do away with me Twitter, because it's just a cesspit, innit? It's just. But that was just hilariously funny. He does some cracking Trump impersonations when he's wearing his "Make Prisons Great Again" cap. Genius. But yes, this is America's new Minister for Health. I'll say I don't know if our good friend Reagan Elite's still in the audience, but let's just say this one's for this is what we'll expect from our Secretary of Education. What could possibly go wrong?
But Mom, just remember, like you told me when I was a little girl, this is gonna hurt me a lot worse than it hurts you. Get her!
Yes, what could possibly go wrong? What could possibly go wrong, eh? What could possibly go wrong? Yes, absolutely. Alistair Kerr, totally agree. Give Reagan Elite's channel, who always learn something. You learn no way. Just hear me giggling at silly stuff. Anyway, it's a chuckle for you peeps. Dumpy has basically sidelined Margarine Taco Christie, made her head of the DOJ Doors subcommittee, a total nothing job. Yeah, absolutely. You see, Alistair, yeah, oh my fucking God. Yeah, that's what you've got. All Trump fans don't like wrestling, but all wrestling fans there support Trump. Yeah. Making her education secretary was like making Nadine Dorries culture. Yeah, of course that'll never happen. Oh no, wait a minute. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Number 3. Yeah. That's the education secretary for of education. Now, I don't know if you watched my last video, but I think it came out about 3 o'clock today. But where I talked about, where I said at the end that I'll be on the Sunday roast on Sunday, and we had a little chat about this. And apparently she's apparently big on education, books for kids and stuff like that. She's fine, but I'm just thinking, yeah, you're right. I think you're right, Wales. Yeah, it's true what they say. What happens there here? Give it 5-10 years, and it's in this. Yeah, totally agree. But it depends on what books she's talking about. You know what I mean? You just think depends on what books. If it's just so yeah, 120 million bought and paid for job for McMahon. Yes, I've been hearing little wisp. Mansha, I think the last scandal that he's been in might have paid for that. I don't know. Because I did hear that he was thinking, oh, maybe I should run for president, you know, as if it's, we'll just stand in line. But as I say, when it came to that election, one thing I find interesting that all the Republicans said, oh, we were sick to death of having all these millionaires. Yeah. You know, so all these rich millionaires telling us who to vote for, you know, while at the same time, you know, jumping up for the most richest man in the world, Elon Musk. Hilarious. Yes, photos. Yes, those were all photos. I just found them when I used to work, when I took my job very, very seriously, as you'll find when you see them. Yeah. Dan White, UFC owner. I blame Dan White, UFC owner. Really. He's not somebody I've come across, really, but I might have to look him up, actually. But yeah, Dumpy thinks the presidency is the WWE. I think you're onto something there. I think you're quite possibly onto something. But yeah, like I say, what could possibly go wrong? We're down to his last couple. And these are a couple of old ones. You know, it's like I say, we started with a bit of a tribute to John Prescott. You know, it's like I'll say he's passed away. And here's a couple of interesting little clips that were just because like what I will say, I was listening to the radio and they had Alistair Campbell on, and he did a bit of a glowing tribute, and he talked about how much he worked on his speeches. He worked on his speeches and all that, because, you know, with the accent that he had, he was one of these where people think I'm a dumb Yorkshire lad, and he worked hard and he took it incredibly serious. And one of his prickly things were when you know, the rich toffs would just think all he would be fit for was as a champagne filler, you know. Fill my drink, Mr. Prescott. But as I say, we're larger than life. And here's a couple of interesting clips for you. As I say, when it's John Prescott versus John Burko on the minimum wage, 1998.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Given his own admission that a minimum wage will destroy jobs, and the TUC forecast of 200,000 job losses in manufacturing industry, how does the...
Sorry, I can't resist. Oh, dare! Oh, dare! Sorry, I couldn't resist.
Right honourable gentleman reconcile the rhetoric of welfare to work with the reality that his government is set to deliver work to welfare upon a horrific scale?
No evidence. I do find it amazing. The honourable member talks about small amounts of jobs regarding to manufacturing, important as they are, when his government was responsible for 2 million jobs. 2 million jobs being lost from our manufacturing sector, which we still have to deal with. And as regard to the minimum wage, I can say I was one of those who did receive minimum wage under the Wages Council Act before the previous administration actually abolished them, as working as a commis chef in hotels. And so it's not misunderstood on the opposite side. A commis chef is somebody who's a trainee chef and has no political significance whatsoever. Though I'm not so sure that the hotel manager felt that at the time. And I think it's as well to remember that what we are doing about fair employment rights will be welcomed by millions of workers who are at work today. And I must say that the advice he is given to pose that question is probably as inaccurate as what he gave to Jonathan Aiken when he was the advisor. or indeed expressed in the exaggerated language as when he was the chair of the Federation of Conservative Students before it was disbanded by Norman Tebbit for being too right-wing.
Oh dear. It don't matter what your political thoughts. I mean, whether you liked him or not, he was larger than life, wasn't he? Yeah. I remember when UK Labour actually had working class people as representatives. Good times. Yeah. I'll go along with that. Two jags ripped, not many of you look left. Yeah. Oh dare. Yes. Oh dear. But like I said, this is
The right honourable member.
This is just brilliant. John Prescott versus William Hague. And this is, this is quite brilliant. Nothing demonstrates better how far the standards of our politicians have dropped. And this is I just thought this was brilliant. And if I remember, I think in William Hague from up north as well, but he soon lost his accent and gone quite posh. But it was a very interesting exchange.
I'm delighted to see the right honourable member back on the front bench in a leadership role. It does seem that the Tories have been going through leaders so fast they've started at the beginning again. They're now so green they're even recycling their leaders. And of course, us Rotherham lads must stick together, mustn't we? But anyway,
the Deputy Prime Minister should be more sympathetic to elderly council taxpayers. He's over 65 and he didn't pay council tax for years himself. What was so special about election year that pensioners needed £200 help with their council tax just for that 1 year?
Compared to the last 5 years of which he had some influence, where there was an actual reduction of 7% in real terms of contribution to the councils for their council tax.
Hey. I think there was so little English in that answer, President Chirac would have been happy with it. The fact is that... Would the Deputy Prime Minister agree with me that he was absolutely right to warn the Prime Minister that government instability would result from saying in advance that he would go?
I didn't say... The honourable member must know I didn't say that at all. And even though he's got difficulty understanding what I said, I clearly did not say that. I know of no other leader that has made such a commitment as a Prime Minister. And I know that'd be difficult for the honourable member because he was the first Tory leader to never to become a Prime Minister.
Well, that was the 2001 election, but at least I got through the campaign without hitting anybody. What is the timetable?
That's for me to know and him to guess. But you know, reference constantly to the incident that occurred during my election, I thought we'd finished Punch and Judy politics here. Now, I know I will be called Mr. Punch. What does he think that leaves him as?
May I also say that since the Deputy Prime Minister announced his resignation and he's just been told on his own side that he will be missed, he can be sure that on our side he'll be even more missed. But may I say quite seriously that although we have disagreed with so many of his policies and exchanged many harsh words, he has served so far 37 years in this House and 10 years as Deputy Prime Minister, and by any standards that counts as an achievement. And we wish him well in his future retirement. However, he is still the Deputy Prime Minister.
It's so nice after 37 years to know that I will be missed. But I'm not leaving the house yet. And I will still play my part. I won't be whinging on the back benches that I hear some of my colleagues do from time to time.
Oh, it was absolutely brilliant. Because, as I say, it's not like what it is now, is it? When it comes to the good evening, Barry West. Hope you're well, and hope you've had a fantastic day. But I will leave you with this legendary exchange with. Do we all remember this? Why is it always millionaires like yourself who get uptight about £2 an hour for a minimum wage? Prescott versus Heseltine. And let's just say this is just absolute brilliant.
Why is it always millionaires like yourself get uptight about £2 an hour for people on minimum wage? Why do you always have to do that? I'll tell you.
I'll tell you.
See that? Look at that stare. It looks ready to give him a left and a right. If so many lefts and rights, he'll be wanting an uppercut one. that is the boxer staring it.
I'll tell you, because I know something about actually creating jobs as opposed to just talking about it.
You've obviously done a lot better than your workers have.
Yeah, but in fact created a large number of jobs in the process.
Not at £2 an hour.
Not at £2 an hour.
No.
The fact is that if you put
millions of our people live on £2 an hour.
When you made your original statement on these issues, you admitted there would be loss of jobs if we introduced minimum wages. Your own words. Now, you just tell the people in this country...
Is £2 an hour acceptable to you?
You know perfectly well that what you're talking about is £4.08 an hour as the minimum wage.
Is £2 an hour acceptable to you as a very wealthy man?
It is nothing to do with me being a wealthy man. Well, what you're trying
is it acceptable £2 an hour?
It is entirely a matter of what people are prepared to accept in the circumstances of getting a job. And the fact
why is it always millionaires like yourself get up...
Yes, exactly. What a typical Tory is. It always reminds me of that story one said, you know, when we're talking about when it came to dockers, you know, there's 10 dockers and there's only 6 jobs, and it's how low you prepared to go to do that, to basically to work for that job, and they'll all outbid each other. And that was sort of like the mentality for the Heseltine there, wasn't it? But yeah, I just thought that was is an absolute legend. Yes, absolute legend. When I watched that, I just thought absolutely brilliant. But anyway, I just want to say, first thing, you know, I have to say this is probably one of my favourite parts of the week. I thoroughly enjoy doing these, you know, because when it came to doing this sort of live stream, it was just basically something I just wanted to just improve my pattern and get better at live streaming, because you all know what my live streams are usually like. They usually descend into utter chaos, you know. I'll start with talking to myself for 20 minutes, not realising I've not started the live stream. And I'll have my daughter and my wife knocking on the door saying, "You're not on. I thought it would just be a case of I'll do a few and just enjoy, let them get better at and possibly finish. But it's come to a point where I quite enjoy it. You know, it's sort of like I enjoy the conversation with people who I've got to know and love, and yet I've somewhat especially, you have a special place in my heart, and it's something that I really, really do enjoy. So long may these continue. But I just want to say thank you for stopping by. You know, thank you for spending 2 hours with me and my utter nonsense and drivel. It's been honour and privilege to see you all, and hopefully I will see you again next time for another wonderful Friday frolic. And thanks for stopping by, and take care, my friends. See you later, my friends. Take care.